My third film for Illogical Twist Month also happens to be the first Jim Carrey movie of the year, The Number 23 from 2007. The film follows Jim Carrey as a man who spirals into obsession and madness after reading a mysterious novel. I'll be honest, I actually really do like this movie, even with its flaws. This was the first film that I saw with Jim Carrey doing something a little bit more serious and stepping away from his typical cartoony, comedic, wacky side. However, he does bring a sarcastic wit to his character, which does add some humor to the rather dark story. I also do like the creative decision that every time Carrey's character reads the novel, the film's perspective switches to the novel, which is more of a dark, noir, pulpy kind of style. And the characters in the movie's world substitute for the characters in the novel world. I will say though, it is kind of an unnecessary addition, but it does keep the audience's engagement switching back and forth. And the style switch is nice because it helps the audience differentiate between what's going on in the real world versus what's going on in the novel world without being too confusing. There are two issues that I have, and because they deal with the narrative as a whole, they are pretty big issues. The first issue is that the film really dabbles with but never fully commits to this supernatural element to the number 23. In reality, the film works without this angle, but it definitely feels like it's trying to be something like a Stephen King novel. The second issue is, you guessed it, the ending. Or rather, the twist of the ending. Now, I will again admit that I don't mind this ending in parts. I definitely see what the writers are trying to go for, and when you really kind of just let it sit, it works. But if you start poking holes in it, start really thinking about it, the whole thing just kind of collapses on itself. There's a lot of misdirects hinting at a different sort of twist ending, which they do start to explore, but they never really let that ending or that idea sink in before pulling the rug out from under us and giving us the actual twist. My filmmaking rating for this is going to be a 3 out of 5. I see the vision that the writers are going for, and taken at face value, it's a pretty decent psycho thriller with some decent performances. Unfortunately, once I start thinking a little bit about too much things and the conveniences of the plot, everything really just doesn't hold up. For rewatch, I'm also going to go with a 3 out of 5. As stated, I do like this film, so I'm willing to rewatch it a little bit more frequently than others would. However, there are a lot better psycho thrillers out there, so this one will have to wait before I integrate it back into the rotation. If you've seen The Number 23, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks for watching.